What's up everybody, Tim Conley here, your resident freaking genius. I want to share with you a concept I call the minimum sustainable agency. This is something that most people don't talk about. Like, what's the bare minimum for you to have a business that will last years, decades, maybe be a lifelong asset or even a sellable asset? And that's what we're going to get into today. So let's check it. Have you ever heard of the concept 1,000 True Fans? It's by Kevin Kelly. He wrote this back, I think, in like 2008, trying to explain the power of the internet, especially for creative types, artists, musicians, and such. But this concept really resonated with niche marketing. So back in 2008, entering into a niche, you could easily find yourself 1,000 fans who would be willing to pay you $100 a year for most anything. My friends Dan and Ian over at the Tropical MBA came up with this concept several years ago called 10 true clients, 100 true customers, and 1,000 true fans. I don't think they really understood just how powerful this idea was for an agency, because it's a model for the minimum sustainable agency. 10 clients, 100 customers, and 1,000 fans. But I've modified this a little bit because putting it into action, what we really need is 10 clients, 100 members, and then 1,000 customers. Maybe we end up with like 10,000 fans or something. I don't know. I'm not really too focused on the fan side of the equation, but the part that really makes an agency sustainable are clients, members, and customers. If you've been watching my channel for a while, and you should be watching my channel for a long while, I've covered the 3 revenue sources that an agency has to have to be a sustainable agency. You have your core service. This is the thing you do, whether you do Facebook advertising, you do design, you do websites, you do branding, you have a thing you do, that's your main service, and then you have your training, your intellectual property, the things that your clients want to know, but they don't necessarily want you to do it for them. The third thing is your thinking, just straight up thinking, coaching, a strategy, bringing people together in a mastermind, having the ability to share ideas. This third one is my favorite, and I think it's the one that really should be a part of every single agency. Whether you do training or not, you really need to incorporate your thinking and the thinking of your customers and have those people share ideas with each other. So those are the 3 sources of revenue. Now let's get into the differences between a client, a member, and a customer. So clients, well, kind of self-explanatory. You're already doing client work. It's the labor that you provide to your clients. For me, I do business coaching. So I help a business grow by providing them with knowledge and experience and guidance. And that's my core service. And I provide that to my clients. This is the manual labor that I do. So you have whatever you do. You might be making websites, you might be doing Facebook ads, you have some form of labor that you're providing to a company. That is your client. Now a member, now these are the parts that I really like. Members are people that you're bringing into some sort of ongoing commitment. This could be a membership site, like just straight up membership site. I've had several in the past. You could have this as a paid mastermind, and I know that kind of goes into the thinking, but you could have a paid mastermind. I ran several. That's probably how I ended up becoming a business coach, is that I ran multiple paid masterminds about a decade ago that got me into becoming a business coach. But I think members are better focused on the training side, because you could have loads of members who would pay you on a regular basis licensing your training for their team and do so for years without ever needing your actual core service, without needing you to do anything for them. They just may want your intellectual property transferred to them and allow them to grow by learning and teaching their team members. These are fantastic members. Then the third one is customers. These people are different from the other two in that they're probably not going to give you a lot of money, and they're probably not going to stick around. They're going to come in and maybe buy one training product for $250. Maybe they'll buy one training product for $5,000, but then never pay you ever again. Or they might buy a couple of other things, come to a workshop. Maybe they come onto a paid webinar or something, and that's it. And they're done. They just don't give you a lot of money over a long period of time. That's the main differentiator between a customer and a member in my head. Now let's put this whole thing into action. So 10 clients. I say you should have a minimum engagement with any client at $25,000 in a year. That might be a single project for $25,000. And then if not, you have $25,000 that's accrued in the course of a year. That might be 4 smaller projects. It might be a monthly service. We want to start with clients instead of members and customers because we're able to generate revenue quickly. So if you went out and got 10 clients paying you $25,000, you would end up with $250,000 to pay the bills. You could hire team members that will allow you to build up your intellectual property, and those team members will be able to help you build the intellectual property into products, into training that will be purchased by your members and your customers. If you start on the other end at customers and you're only getting $250 or maybe $2,500, it takes a while to build up enough revenue to be able to hire team members. It takes a while to have enough resources to be able to scale your business. So if you start on the lower end, it's going to take you a while to build up to the type of business that will sustain you for decades. Now, I don't want to forget about the members because, well, we don't want to start there either because members tend to buy into your authority. Members tend to buy into a system. And if you've not built a system using clients, and they've not come through as a customer to get indoctrinated into your way of thinking, they sure aren't going to pay you a sizable sum of money for your training, for your system that they can't see any proof of. We don't want to start with members because there's a significant barrier to entry for that group of people. But on the client side and the customer side, the barrier to entry is actually lower. Now let's get into some money math. We've got 10 clients paying us a minimum of $25,000. Like for my service, I charge more than $25,000 for my coaching because it takes a lot of my energy and I'm dedicating a significant portion of my time, my life to growing someone else's business. So I don't charge $25,000. I charge significantly more than that. And that allows me to not actually need 10 clients. If I wanted to, I could get 4 clients and still have a really good lifestyle pretty much anywhere in the United States. You can have 10 clients if you're wanting to build an agency, or if you want to be the minimum sustainable and you want to be a freelancer or solopreneur, drop down to 4 clients. Now, we don't want to forget about getting members because those clients still want that other intellectual property. They still want training that you could provide their team members. And then there's people who don't want you to actually do the work for them. They just want to train their team. So we start going after members. This is a place where we could build a mastermind if we wanted. It's a place that we could build high-end training products. Let's keep with the whole switching numbers and go from 10 to 100 members and from 25,000 down to 2,500. The reality is with training products, you could probably get $25,000 just for training a company. I've done it in varying capacities, from coaching, a very high level coaching, not just the owner, the entrepreneur, my main core service, but also doing it with team members, building up managers inside of companies, and even licensing training. Back in the day when I used to make websites in my company, what we would do is we would sell the website and then we would give them training. Back in the day, no one knew how to use WordPress. So we had to create a complete training program on how to make a page, how to make a post, how to put pictures, how to put video, how to do everything that, a lot of us just take for granted. We created a complete WordPress training program that we licensed to companies. So everyone in the company could have access to it. And they paid us an annual fee. Well, why would they keep paying an annual fee? Because WordPress kept changing, and we would come in and make updates, and they also would have changes in their staff, and those people would need to learn how to use it. They were members because they stayed paying for years. Now let's go after that 1,000 customers, where Dan and Ian called them 1,000 fans and paying a small amount, going with the 1,000 true fans concept, where you were getting like $100. I don't think in an agency you should have customers that pay you less than $250. At least in the course of a year. They might come in on a tripwire. Maybe you make a tripwire that's, say, $49, and it covers some concept of yours that starts to indoctrinate them into your way of thinking. Get them to purchase additional knowledge products from you. This way, you can have a steady customer base. We don't need just a single transaction from them. What we're after is a minimum in the course of a year of $250. But in reality, you'll probably make $2,500 from your customers. You might even make significantly more than $2,500 as an average on all of your customers. Now think about that. If you only got $250 at 1,000 customers, then you've got $250,000 coming from your customers. Then you go to your members and you've got 100 members paying you $2,500 a year. There's another $250,000. And then you've got your 10 clients paying you a minimum of $25,000 for another $250,000. You've got a $750,000 sustainable, like, let's say it with me, kids, sustainable. It's a sustainable business because you could lose a client, you could lose multiple clients, and you can make it up in members. You could lose multiple members and make it up in customers. You will have these 3 revenue sources for your agency, and that gives you the ability to have a lifelong asset, having other people run it. You could have this as a sellable asset because you're not solely dependent on client income that could just disappear tomorrow. So you'll get a higher multiple, maybe even getting sailing off into the sunset kind of money. I hope you found this concept very intriguing. Go get 10 clients, get 100 members, and 1,000 customers, and you will have a sustainable agency for decades to come. So sustain this channel by hitting that like button, subscribe, share, and do all the socials, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh, before you go, check out these videos right here, this playlist on value-based pricing. And we're done. I can't believe you have to put up with this like all the time.